Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry, and today we are going to take a look at the Deluxe villain figure, or monster figure, however you want to call it, in Wave 10. This is Mighty Morphin Eye Guy, so let's go ahead and get him in the booth and take a closer look. And here we have Eye Guy, still in his packaging, and as you can see, he's so big he barely fits in my tiny little light box here. We're going to take a closer look at some of the artwork. As you can see, not got too much paint. I mean, he really has a lot of brown eyes all over the place. But he has that fantastic artwork. Mine's a little scuffed up here. Don't know. Yeah, I think you can see it on that end. On the side. Oh, see, you can't even see it. It's so dark. It's practically out of the booth. And on the side here, got the nice render on the back. And you got your little warning there at the corner. Oh, let's flip it around. You got all your other warnings and other stuff on the bottom. Let's go ahead and get him out of the box and take a closer look. Alright, and here we have Eye Guy out of the packaging. And as you can see, he's really white. And there's a very little bit of... take a closer look at the deco on him. All the little brown eyes painted. Now there is a little... I'm not sure that's supposed to be a scrape. Let me see if I can't zoom... I don't know if you can see it there. That eye right here. Little white speck on it. Yeah, it looks like it was scraped. So I got a little bit of paint scrape, but not the worst I've seen on the Lightning Collection line so far. But he doesn't have a lot of other shading on him except for on his face, which is very minimal. And on his hands, get some better light here. There we go. Yeah, on his hands, got a little bit of shading as well. But other than that, he's just pretty much a giant hunk of white plastic. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of his articulation now. Because of this guy being so big, he technically doesn't have a head swivel. He doesn't have a neck, but he does have an articulated eye right here. You can just put your hand in there and move it, and it looks like his mouth here. Yep, you can close that big eyelid, so that's pretty cool. It's really soft plastic too. It's very pliable. You can see that's really neat, actually. Now, so there's no head swivel, no ball joint except for right here. That's technically the head swivel, I guess. But you can see the kind of range of motion you get of the eye. Rotates around pretty good. All right, now you got for your arms, you do have butterfly hinges. Mine on him are really tight, but it doesn't seem like he really moves all that much. He'd have all that much room to move anyway. Very little, very minuscule amounts of range because of the sculpt. Now he does have his hinge peg here for the arms and the shoulders. Move it up and down. It is hindered by the big eyeball thing protruding from his head. So you get about pretty straight forward. You can move it back that way. Just move out like that again. Hindered a little bit by this. He has a single jointed elbow, which I believe, I wanted to say, I could be wrong about this. I'll bring him out later and we'll be sure, but I want to say King Sphinx is the same way. I think he only has a single jointed elbow, but we'll see if I'm right or wrong here at the end when I put him next to him. But he does have a swivel there also at the elbow. No wrist, or obviously no glove cut because there's no glove. But he does have a wrist, and it does have a hinge, but again, pretty minuscule amount. Can't really move it too far. You get like maybe a click each direction from center. Now there's no ab crunch, but there is a waist swivel, and it's on a ball peg. So you get some decent range here. And they didn't paint all the eyes. There's all these blank eyes. Alright, and so you got for your legs, they're on the same ball peg system here. You can't do a full split. You can get pretty good. Moves up and down, in and out. You do have a thigh cut, which breaks up the mold pretty good. Or I guess pretty badly, really. You do have double jointed knees, so there's something. Again, really tight. My knees are always tight on these guys, but this is harder plastic, so it doesn't bend nearly as much. No cut at the calf here at all, because there's no boots. It's just that. But you do have ankle rockers. And a hinge. These aren't too bad. The rockers are pretty loose. See how easy that is to wiggle. And that's on both left and right. The hinge again on the left is really, I don't know what is it, what the left feet on these Lightning Collection that are just always loose. Now for accessories, there's not a whole lot. He does get one pair of interchangeable hands, which are both fist, and it's got about the same amount of deco as the open hands. You know, not a lot of shading or extra detail on them, but they're there. And he also has probably one of the neatest accessories, which is why you would end up closing his eye for this, because it's, you know, it's when his eyeball flies out. And it comes on this nice acrylic stand. It just floats around with that nice effect piece that's already wrapped around it when you take it out of the box. Now you can take this off. It is a very pliable green like a mint green translucent plastic. As you see, it wiggles off pretty good. But unlike the eye guy, the lid does not shut on this. And you get one other effect piece. I think it's really neat. And that is this. Well, how are you supposed to use that, Larry? Well, you can use it two ways. Either on the little floating eye here, or on the main eye in his head. And how you would do that is, as you can see, I go hitting the camera on the tripod, there are these little notches on either side of the eyeball, or the retina. Take your finger, take a grip of it, and it just pops right off. Now if I can get this one out. Yep, there we go. And see, it's just a little lens. And leaves a nice little cavity there. And you would take this part. It has little nibs there. So you line it up with the same spots. And there you go. Plug it in. And now it's shooting a beam from the eye. And it works also, does the same thing on here. As you can see, it has the same nubs there at the end. So you can go in. You know, it's a little bit more difficult taking it out of this guy on his main head because the eye does rotate. It makes it really difficult to try to pull it out. You see, I got that out. So that leaves you with two of those, and it doesn't matter. They're the exact same piece, so you can put them in either one. So don't get worried if you mix them up if you got them both out at the same time. But you don't even have to pull out the pegs on that. You can just pull on the one part, pull it out, and then you just plug that in there. You have him like he's vomiting out of his eye. Kind of a neat feature. Wasn't really necessary, but I like it. It's a really cool effect, and he did do that in the show quite a bit in the one episode. And you just take it when you're done, and you just plug that right back in this spot. Mine is now crooked. It is not in right. There we go. Now we got it in right. That was a bit of a pain. Alright, there we go. Back on that right. See if I can't do that here. Just line it up and push, and there you go. Perfect. After some further investigation, I was able to unplug the effect piece completely off. It's just a little nub there. I don't know why it was so tight before. So you can remove that whole thing. You can just have it sitting on here without the effects if you want, like so. Sure, you got that unsightly little divot, but if you want to display it as such, you now have that option. I don't know why it was so tight before, but it would not let me unplug it the last time originally. But there's the little nub right there that plugs right into that. Look, it's even a little spectral eyeball. Let's take a closer look at that. Look at that. I really like this effect piece. It's really cool. Oh, focus. There we go. Got little ghostly eyeballs all around the effect piece. That's kind of cool. That's actually really cool. I do like that a lot. Oh, that's really neat. I do love it when they have these one-of-a-kind type of effect pieces that are just for a particular figure. Good work, Hasbro. Now here we have him next to King Sphinx, which is one of our first deluxe monster figures in the line. And I do stand corrected. He does have double jointed elbows. So Guy here is our first villain with only single jointed elbows. But then again, it's understandable by the mold on him. I don't think it would have worked for double jointed, but just how that design is. And I'm going to compare him to the other monster that we got, and that is Pumpkin Wrapper. And I would bring out Pudgy Pig, but I don't have him. The normal release, that was my brother's when I did that review. If you haven't seen it, I will put that up here in the corner, so you can check out my review on the main line version you can pick up at retail. And yeah, but yeah, he's pretty big. He does scale pretty well with the rest of the monsters in the line. And just for our scale comparison, here is a Putty Patroller. So you can see how much they tower on them. And I don't have any Mighty Morphin in the room, but considering I just did the review for this guy as well today, or recorded this guy, here is a comparison with a Ranger. Here we have Riley from Dino Charge knocking over the Putty. Oh, compared to Riley, he's pretty big. Got them right next to each other. Good couple inches taller, maybe a inch. I don't know. I could get the tape measure out if I really wanted to, but I kind of don't. But yeah, that's how they all scale with the main Lightning collection Rangers. Now, I guess it's up to you to decide if you feel that these guys are way too big. But they were always bigger in the show, but not this much larger than the actual Rangers. I mean, I think Pumpkin Wrapper scales a lot better with the Rangers for the most part, body-wise. But he says so much taller because of that head. But the rest of the monsters are just a little bit oversized. Maybe if they do a normal, like, figure, lightning collection figure of a Megazord, maybe. I mean, we got the 6-inch suit looking ones that are not as articulated, but they look just like they did on the show. So I think those would scale decently, I guess. I've not picked those up. I don't know, they're just not for me. I'm not a completionist for everything Power Rangers, but I don't know. If you all want to see that, maybe I'll pick one up if I can find one. Because those guys are Walmart exclusives and a pain in the butt to find. And when they sell out on Pulse, you're pretty much never going to find them. And I never find anything at my local Walmart, unfortunately. So, with that said, guys, still a pretty cool figure. The sculpt is really nice. Still wish there was a lot more paint on them. Besides just the amount of eyeballs. I mean, there's still a lot of eyeballs that were painted, but still, the best part about him is the rotating eye in his head, and the cool effects, and the separate eye with the nice little ghost eyeballs spiriting around it, which I really love. It's not bad for the 4th deluxe monster figure that we've gotten in the line so far from Hasbro, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next after I review Piranha's head in the coming weeks. But till then, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that little bell notification down below. And I'll be back soon. Peace.